Hey, my name is Billy Gould. I play bass in the band Faith No More, and I kind of produce a lot of stuff, and I have a record label called Cool Arrow Records. We, as a group, we're a very strange bunch of people. We're fiercely independent, so nobody likes anybody to tell them what to do. So you can't make anybody do anything in this group, and we're kind of like a democracy in the true sense, for better or worse. And we decided to kind of start playing music again about 5 years ago. We had about a 13-year break, and we kind of got into playing. And back in the day, we toured so much, we kind of really got burned out. We got sick of seeing each other. And once we started playing and the shows were really good, I think we kind of warmed up to the idea of making music. And once we did, kind of stepped our foot in a little more. We liked what we did. And then, we just started going for it. And a lot of it has to do with taking so long in the past 5 years is because we kind of, until we really know that we got something, we really didn't want to talk about it. We had music we were working on. We didn't want to tell anybody about it because we weren't 100% sure. And once we said, okay, it's going to work, then it was okay. And I think I did a press thing about 6 months ago where I finally said we were doing it. But we've been working on it for a couple of years. Actually, what we started doing was writing in our rehearsal room, where I was just with a drummer. I was like, hey man, I got all my recording gear here because I mix stuff for other bands, I record other bands, and I was like, I got the stuff here, let's just mic some drums up, let's just work out some ideas. And so we did it, and I sent it to a couple of guys, and I guess sounds really good. It's like, let's just keep going. So we just kept going. We didn't even go in the studio. We just started writing with the gear that we had set up. And so it's kind of weird because we're thinking, hey man, we're recording our album in our rehearsal room, but I like what we got. I have a lot of different preamps. I would say the amp I really like, and I like to use most for preamps, is a Pendulum 2-channel. That's kind of like what I use for just about everything because it's just a really solid, I don't think about it. It doesn't have a strong personality one way or another, but I like that. It works with everything. The mics, like the vintage 11, the V11 is what I used for room mics, for drums, for some bass amp stuff. I used it for some guitar and vocals. On some songs, they worked amazing for vocals because they have this fatness to them where like Mike didn't have to double his vocal on a couple parts because it was so thick, it stood right over everything, didn't need to get mixed. That was a great mic. I've got like some modified mics. I got an old, the numbers always get screwed. I have an old AKG, it's an old dynamic, old one, like a John Bonham kick mic, which is really cool. Doesn't sound like a lot of records that come out now. It has its own thing, but I like stuff that has a personality that isn't typical. Just a lot of different stuff. We had a lot of interesting techniques because it was a rehearsal room, and it took a lot of improvisation to make it sound good. Like I'd stay awake at night like going, oh man, this sounds like shit. Like the drums, like the room sounded like shit. And I would just think about it, and we just experiment and find ways. And I can't tell you, specifically what things we did because it wouldn't apply outside. What I can say is we worked on something till we got it how we wanted to sound. What we decided to do, one of the things that really got us excited about making this record was we realized we were free from our old record contract. And that because, I don't know how to put it, but there's something about when you work on something for so long and you give it to these people that they have the license for it and they don't really care about it, they don't respect it, it kind of takes the fun out of it. And when we knew we were off our deal, it really actually woke up the band and made everybody like motivated. And we decided to start our own little imprint and distribute it ourselves. Well, the songs, I'm still mixing them. So we don't even know exactly where they're all going to go. But we try to keep our live shows pretty spontaneous. We do. There are songs we have to play. We've been together since 1981, so there's certain stuff that we're going to do. But we always try to have some element where parts of the show, anything can happen. Our singer's pretty good at that too. I came from the school where nobody really cared about what I did making music. My music was weird and we didn't fit with other bands. As being a producer, I taught myself by reading everything, reading as much as I could, learning as much as I could, trying out experiments, making some bad sounding recordings and learning from them. And what I can say is, if you're really into doing this, just do it and you will find your path. And the worst thing you can do is play it safe and do what you think you're supposed to do. Even though you might get the short-term reward from that, long-term, I think, if you really want to do this with your life, do it the hard way and learn from your mistakes and make a lot of mistakes. My personal story about the Jay-Z was I was in Paris and I was at a friend's house for dinner, and he's a violin player. And I was just talking to him because he played in a band with R. Crumb, his jazz band. And he was just talking about how, I asked him how he recorded and what he used, because that's the kind of idiot I am. I always asking people that. And he was saying, I use these microphones from Latvia called Jay-Z. And I really love the way they sound on my violin, and I bought one. And I was like, cool. And that always stuck with me. And last year I was here at NAMM, and I saw Mayor Applebaum, who I knew already, and he said, hey, check out these microphones. And that was the second time somebody had told me to check them out. And so last year I got the V11s, and I was like, I liked it because it was something, it wasn't like any other mic I have. It wasn't like any other mic I've heard, but it gave me something instantly that I understood, that it was like, I could use this for something, and it doesn't sound like everything else, but it sounds good. So that kind of got me into it.